We're back for part 2 of our episode talking about the dealerships of the future. What does your dealership look like, and what is it like to actually run a dealership in 2050? Stay tuned. We have a lot to talk about.
Welcome to Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers. Prepare to learn something new about the industry that keeps us moving.
Check out all our podcast content on our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X. Welcome back. In this episode, we're continuing our conversation with Charles, talking about dealerships in 2050. What does the industry look like in 25 years from now? Charles, welcome back.
Hey, Dan, I'm good. Good to be here again. Good to be here again.
Always good to have you on the show. These are always fun episodes to do.
You
but
bet.
I've really enjoyed this episode because it's, or at least this topic that we started in the previous episode, because it really kind of starts framing what dealers need to do now when you start talking about what this industry plausibly looks like in 25 years.
Oh, absolutely. I think training and development starts now because we're moving forward. Things are moving forward, and we don't have and there's not a map that's guiding us anywhere. You know, we're going places we've never been before. And in managing a dealership, it's even going to be a little bit more challenging.
I think so. I think in this episode, it's a really interesting one to talk about, like the inside perspective. What does it look like to manage employees in 25 years? The context is kind of interesting. So in 25 years, the millennials will be retiring out.
Absolutely.
And they'll be occupying senior management positions and leaving the workforce. And your Gen Z will be the bulk of your management in 25 years. And Gen Alpha will be the bulk of the workforce. They'll be the largest generation in the workforce.
And they're changing the workforce. There used to be a time when the old guys used to kind of say, here's how we do things. Here's what it's about. And then the boomers are doing that. As each generation comes above, they're pushing their values up rather than accepting what's there. So the challenge is going to be, where is our workforce going to be at that point in time? Where are consumers going to be at this point in time in 25 years?
It's kind of fascinating to see. I mean, we don't really have a good feel necessarily on what Gen Alpha is in the workplace. They are barely working early part-time jobs in the summer. Mm-hmm. They're out of school now, but I guess I have a couple predictions that I'd love to run by you. While I think that there's definitely been, and I think for good reasons, some pushback on work from home. There's a lot of industries, a lot of businesses where the work from home push that came from COVID has been kind of rejected, and businesses have not found it to be as productive as they initially thought it to be. I think long-term in the future, work from home, very hybrid type jobs where the bulk of work is going to be done from home is going to be, even in a dealership setting, very common in the future.
I think that's definitely correct. I think that work from home is going to become the new place to be. There may be some hybrids. You may have to go in the office once a week. You may have to go somewhere once a week. But for the majority, I think we are going to be working from home. Even in this industry, that is a people-related industry, you're going to be working from home most of the time.
I think that's definitely going to be super common. I've got another prediction to make because I'm trying to wrap my mind around the concept of we're going to be dealing with higher and higher technology inventory. And if we're dealing with higher and higher technology inventory, I think you're going to see on the service and recon side a division of labor that doesn't quite exist currently emerge. It's going to be kind of like what you see in medicine. I think you're going to have like where you have the distinction between your your physician and your nurse. You've got the person that makes the diagnoses, that has the high level of education, and then the person that does, quite frankly, the important, difficult work with the patient being the nurse. I think you're going to see that in automotive service, where you're going to have someone that has much more of a high technology, electrical engineering background, who's going to be responsible for diagnosis, and you're going to have then technicians that are going to implement the corrective actions specified by the engineer. I would not be at all surprised to see some sort of division more concretely emerge in automotive service along those lines.
I think that that's probably going to be it. But I also think it's not going to be, I'm not so sure that we're going to have the ability to work on a car like we do today, because most changes are coming from you change the computer chip and you're good to go. I think it's going to be more of a technological thing where they're also using AI and automated skills to detect what's wrong with the car or what needs to be upgraded or what may be going on with the car, and replacing that chip and being gone. I don't think that there's going to be the necessity to have people who are able to change oil and do those things, replace the fuel pump, and all those things that have to be done. I think we're looking at more electric vehicles. If you go back 30 years, 25 years ago, people could work on cars in their backyard. Forward to 2025, you can't do that anymore. Forward 25 years, there may not even be the need to do that.
I think that's actually touches at one of the real fundamental questions for our industry, and one of the challenges as far as its viability. The industry has good fundamentals in that there is good demand for our products, and I think that's going to be true 25 years from now. So I don't think that people are going to be like, I don't want a used car because we don't need cars anymore. I mean, certainly there's going to be growth of mass transit and alternatives and ride sharing that are going to be challenges for the industry, but I think the fundamental demand is still going to be there. The problem I see is if these products can't be reconned by independent used car dealers, it's going to be hard for used car dealers to not have their role in the industry taken out by the manufacturers.
The cost of some vehicles, the cost of some repairs may do that anyway. That's why I think that there's still going to be a way to do it. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to invest in some new technology to get it done. I think there's going to be a way to do it, but I think the investment may be more costly in the beginning.
Oh, I think that the challenge for this industry, the fundamental challenge, is going to be on that service and recon side. And we're already
Absolutely.
seeing it previewed because we have some high technology vehicles, your plug-in electrics, your vehicles with autonomous technologies that are already out there, that for the most part, and there are some exceptions and some interesting people doing some interesting stuff, but they are very, very, very hard to recon. Most independent used car dealers aren't touching them. And
Absolutely.
that's going to be a challenge to navigate.
I think that's why there's going to be a more costly investment up front in order to make sure you can do that on varying kinds of vehicles. I think it's also going to be mechanics are going to have to be very highly educated. And I think that goes back to your point of the doctor and the nurse. It's going to have to be very highly because it's not going to be the very simple, here's what I can do to fix it. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to get that done. And I think we're seeing that. I think you're right. We're seeing that already.
Yeah. I mean, the real creative operators, there's definitely a way for them to figure it out. I think there's also going to be, as lower technology vehicles become more scarce, I think they're going to command a premium. I think there's going to be a case of where your average vehicle on the road in 2050 is a lot older than your average vehicle on the road is now. I think that you're going to have some incentive for people to keep these vehicles running for longer, that there's going to be a demand for them.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. There is going to be a demand for them. And particularly vehicles we buy now, new cars are extremely cost prohibitive, especially for people who go to a buy here, pay here or independent dealership because they have some credit challenges. But the other part is spending $70,000 on a pickup truck.
Yeah.
That has priced people out of the market. Therefore, that's where I think right now the benefits coming back to the smaller dealership.
Absolutely. I think this industry is absolutely crucial to allowing, people from all socioeconomic, levels to have the freedom of transportation. I think that's one of the things that our industry really provides the hope and opportunity for is you don't have to be rich in order to have a vehicle. We do have used car options with financing options to fit people in all stages of life and, socioeconomic levels. And I think it would be a terrible thing for this country if it gets pigeonholed that only the rich get to enjoy, the freedom of the interstates and the freedom of the road.
I think that's where buy here, pay here serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where some of the smaller independent dealers who have deals with funders who will buy something that has this credit score below 750. I think they're still going to have a place in the market. They're still going to have a place because there's always going to be people who are credit challenged. Good people who went through a hard time, may not have bounced back as quickly and had some effects on their credit. And that's why I think that the small dealer, the buyer payer is always going to have a place. It's just going to be, can you be cost effective in your recon? Because you may be able to buy the car for a relatively good price, but the recon may make it a little bit more than you thought it was going to be.
That is the challenge because, like, you can buy a old used Prius with 150,000 miles on it, and it's 10 years old for an absolutely amazing price. Now it's reconning it in a manner that puts you in a profitable position with it. That's the challenge because you got to buy that battery.
Absolutely.
I think there's going to be a lot of those type of questions in the future.
And I think those are some of the things we need to start looking at now for the small dealer is how do we work with this in this fiscally challenged kind of place we're at, because we have a lot of changes coming on with technology, in cars, in our homes, in financing. All of this is coming. And so now if you plan on being in business and you want to be in business 25 years, those are some of the questions you have to ask yourself. We're not going because I don't believe we're going to have salespeople. We're going to have something AI generated that's going to be able to walk you through the entire buying process. I don't think we're going to have title clerks anymore because once you put in an application online, the system will take care of everything for you. I'm not sure we're going to have anybody sitting behind the desk waiting to collect payments because guess what? The need's not going to be there. That's why you need to take your focus and put it on reconning and making that vehicle affordable in the market so you can continue to make profit.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible. I think it's just going to take a lot of training and development in order to get that done. It's going to take some training to figure out what's coming and where is it coming from. Because a lot of dealers, while they know AI is coming, they need to get really invested in what else is coming and where is it coming from and how do I maintain, and I'm talking about in 5 to 10 years, not 25 years, but if we can get that 5-year or that 10-year, then we'll be fine at 25. You're just going to be jumping those hurdles to deal with technology that's coming.
I completely agree. And I was kind of thinking what management looks like with employees in 25 years. And I kind of had a thought pop up in my head. So I have a prediction to throw at you. So we were talking about how a lot of remote, a lot of employees working virtually, stuff like that. I think that for your in-person employees and your remote employees, you're going to have a lot more of an expectation of psychologically informed management. I think that the science of management psychology is going to be the dominant paradigm in management 25 years from now. It's highly influential already. We have personality tests that have been extremely influential in the course of my career, like within the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the proliferation of these things. I think that it's going to be a lot more deeper than that. And I think that there's going to be an expectation that the manager provides a much more sophisticated, psychologically informed management approach to their team. What are your thoughts?
If you have a team of people, that's exactly what you're going to have to do. But you're also going to have to manage through the AI portion. You're going to have to manage through the change in personnel portion, and the new workforce is going to be very demanding. The new workforce is going to be very, very demanding, and you're going to have to be able to deal with that very demanding workforce who may not have the people skills, who may not be able to have one-on-one conversations with you other than by text. You're going to have to work with those. So you're going to have a clear understanding of who you're managing and why, and how you get the end result.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be facing some things that, in my years of management, I know I have never had to face, and I faced about everything there is to face.
You have.
Yeah. And I don't think that looking 25 years down the road, the challenge is going to be totally different. And understanding human personnel may be the least bit of it. If you have a staff of people, it's going to be a challenge to manage them. It's going to be a challenge to manage them because of the way things are happening with technology, because of the way things are happening with customer service, the way things are happening with recon, all the things that are going to be changing in the business. You're not going to be able to manage the way you did in 1980. You're sure not going to be able to do it in 2025. And in 25 years, it may even be more of a challenge. There are companies now who are customer service-related customers who are going to full AI to handle customer service. And you're not going to know you're talking to an AI representative on the phone because they're going to be so programmed as to what to say and what not to say. And I think that that's going to be a challenge.
I completely agree. You're going to have AI truly competing with live humans for a lot of job tasks.
Absolutely. And there's going to be people that are, I still think there are going to be people who want to talk to a live person. You may say you're a live person, but I want to know you're a live person. I want to know that you're going to help me. I think those are going to get fewer and far between because the generation of the boomers, they like talking to people. They want to see you face to face. Are you being real with me? What can we do to resolve this? But I think as we move forward, that's changing.
Yeah.
And managing a dealership, if you have those people, if you have real live bodies in the business, you're going to have to compete with that versus the AI, versus any other technology that comes along, because who would have thought that we would have had businesses being able to go completely computer generated and not have to have a live body to assist them?
Crazy times.
Because they understand exactly what's being said and how that's being said.
Yep.
And the auto industry needs to get on board with that because it's happening. And is it going to happen tomorrow? No, but I think the auto industry needs to get training and development right now to understand what's coming, what's happening, and how it's going to work, because there's going to be no getting around it.
And I think that's really kind of the fundamental motive between these two episodes that we've just done here. You got to know where you're going in order to figure out a path to get there.
Absolutely. And I mean, everything from buying cars in auction to repossession to all those things are going to have a whole different look on them. Specifically, if you're selling coast to coast and you sell someplace where repossession is not that easy. Hopefully technology can help you do that. We'll see.
Well, we've had a great discussion here, Charles. Any final thoughts on dealerships in 25 years from now?
I think it's going to be interesting to see the transition and the change. And I think it's going to be just in year to year implements of what's changing now and how it's changing. And hoping that all dealers are ready to get on board with the new changes that are coming.
I agree. It's a lot of changes, but I'm optimistic about it. I think this industry has a bright future ahead. Just dealers have to be adaptive, and those that can really work with a lot of change and be creative are going to be able to do real well.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well, thank you, Charles. And with that, to all our dealers, we hope you go out there and sell some cars. It's been another episode of Down Payment.
And please put your comments in. We want to see what you have to say. Are we crazy? Are we way offline? Put down there what you think.
We'd love to hear from you. Check out our podcast on all our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X.
Thank you for listening. Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers, is a production of Meta Financial Services Incorporated.